Hey everybody, this is DM Mike, and this is my prep video for Dragon's Vice Peak. This is my second playthrough. So these videos are very short. I just kind of go through and show you when I'm prepping and when I'm changing. So I'm on my second playthrough, and I've decided to change Umbrage Hill one more time. Like, why not, right? But let's look at the map. So I'll show you my first one, and we'll look at the original one real fast. Let's kind of extend this out. All right, so here's the one that actually comes with, the freaking adventure. Wow, what a lot of wasted space, if you ask me. Just so much emptiness here. I've never liked this map. But this is the one, of course, we all have, right? So on my first playthrough, I said, okay, let me change that up. And I went with this. This is all done in Dungeon Draft, but I take my maps from Dungeon Draft and I add a lot of value and, shading and light and different things like that. Sometimes even cloud cover. Which I don't think you can see so much here. Maybe I didn't do that to this one. But anyway, this is my first take on Umbrage Hill, right? And as you can see here, she's definitely not out on a hill, and she definitely doesn't have a lot of grassland around her. Also, the way I played it was the players showed up down here and could see the front of the house, but didn't realize the Manticore had already attacked and wrecked this entire woodland area and broke through her house. So she was already taken captive in my first playthrough. And so they actually had to take on the Manticore in its lair. And, as they were investigating all this, nobody ever even went down to this area here where the dwarven bodies were, the graves were, which I find this kind of insignificant, really. It's just, there's nothing there to begin with. And so it's kind of like a wasted space. But I had fun with this one. I hadn't just learning Dungeon Draft, so this is what I did. I decided to do, make the, incident exciting. But this was the first run, right? So now let's look at the new one. Let's go back here. Nope, one more time. There we go. All right, so here's my new one for the second playthrough for Umbrage Hill. Now, obviously, the first thing, hey, it's on a hill. Well done. It's all about the details, you freaking designer. So, I didn't want to... I've seen other maps where there's, like, multiple hills, like it just keeps going and going. I didn't want that. I want it very, simplistic. Just give me a couple hills here, and that's what I ran with. So we have just 3 or 4, around her little cottage. It's definitely not a windmill, as you can see, because they didn't really have that asset in Dungeon Draft. But, I probably could have put some icons together to make it look like something, but I felt like it was just so insignificant whether it was a windmill or not. She's just out there by herself. So I envisioned this as a little house on the prairie. So she has her own log cabin. You can see her effects. They've got some tables in here. Can I get any closer? Yeah, it starts to get blurry. Some tables in here, some scrolls, some empty crates. This is her books and journals, right? So she's an apothecary. She's making all these potions, brewing all these potions. So she has all these supplies. She's growing her own herbs and vegetables out here where she can get some of that stuff. She's collected some berries and some mushrooms and different things like that around her house. And she's very, lean on her furnishings. So just a bed, a desk, a little eating area, and there she has some stuff there set up. So I envisioned her kind of that frontier woman living by herself out there on the prairie. And you can see I kind of brought in more of the grassland and a little bit of the forest because, on the map, I don't think there's really a lot of forest around her at all, but she's making potions, brewing things. So she's going to live close to this kind of stuff so she could forage and create that. So I decided to put more vegetation and different things around her. Now, I also got rid of the Manticore. I'll explain this more in my campaign diary, but I got rid of it. I just felt like I already did it the first time. It was fine. Not really that big of a deal. Everybody forgot about the Manticore by the end of the adventure, and it just kind of came and went, so who cares? So I decided to put in the orcs almost immediately. The orcs came to take her hostage, and when the players arrived from this little road right here, as they came up to right about here, this whole side of the house blew out. I had an audio drama for this. Maybe I'll play it in my campaign diaries. Audio drama that you could hear the orcs yelling, and all of a sudden Adabra took advantage of the situation and just mixed a bunch of her potions and blew out the entire house, killing 4 orcs. There's only 6 left. So she did a number on them unexpectedly, and that's right when the players walked up, right? So it's another one of those things where we have an incident, and we want to grab the players, the characters' interest in it, and make it exciting, right? And this stuff here, if you got gnomes and halflings as players, this really was very, very useful to them because they could skirt all this and have full cover because the orcs were shooting from range, and it took a while for everybody to finally come up and try to break into the house because this entire side was open and some of the orcs were starting to pour in. and they knew that was going to be bad news for Adabra. But you know, all this cover here, like the wagons, the well, the stuff down here, was, you know, placed on purpose, because you want to think about where people are going to run to and like what would they do, like where could they find cover, both ascending and descending the hill. And so I kind of put this kind of stuff around, and we had some halflings skirting along here and skirting along here, and a lot of the orcs using the entire house and all these different objects here to hide behind. So it was really advantageous. And I kind of felt like, again, the orcs kind of take a back seat to everything, and I want them a little more up front. So I introduced the orcs pretty early, and, you know, just got rid of the manticore, because in this playthrough, I just wanted to do it a little bit different. Now, if you're part of the Dragons of Icespire Peak DM's Facebook group, this map will be available soon, probably this week, probably by the time this loads up. So that'll be available for you. If you want to look at that, if you want to download it, maybe just use it. Again, it's not going to have everything. It's not going to have the graves, and it's not going to have the windmill stuff. But I think you could still use it and have a good time. All right, guys, that's the end of it. This is my prep for Umbrage Hill. Much more to come as I'm redoing a lot of different maps. All right, guys, see you in the next one.